Okay, I'm going to go over frequencies and just briefly describe like how the whole sound wave works. So for instance, right here from this point to where it meets up for the sound wave to go and where it meets up right here is considered one cycle. So for every cycles per second is determined like whether you have bass or mids or treble. So for instance, 80 cycles in 1 second for the sound wave to repeat 80 times in 1 second is a low frequency. 80 is like the bass. And then going to mids, like for the sound wave to repeat from here to here 500 times in 1 second, that's mid-range. You're going to hear that's what you're going to hear is all the mids. And so on with the treble. So from here to here, repeating 10,000 times in 1 second, that's the treble. So the sound wave is going to be a lot smaller because it's going to be going for it to repeat 10,000 times in 1 second is going to be tiny. So that's that tiny sound wave. It's the high end you're going to hear. Higher pitch, you're going to hear a bunch of them. And then the opposite, the bass, when you're going to hear something like, going a sound wave repeating 80 times in 1 second is going to be the low end. So lower pitch. See how the sound wave is like this. Okay, so going over sample rate, 96K is the highest that this will sample at through the interface that I'm using. So the theory or how it works is basically for every second of audio recorded, it gets chopped up into 96,000 pieces of information. So the higher the sample rate, the higher the resolution. And the theory of how there's something called the Nyquist theory. The frequencies that the human hearing hears up to is 20,000. So in order, they said that theory states that if you want a perfect reproduction of signal, you got to at least double that in the sample rate. So that's when 44 came about, when they started making CDs. Like now, the high-end Pro Tools, you can sample up, the sample rate is like 192. So, the theory is like a higher sample rate, the better it's going to sound. But the debate is, some people say it sounds better at this because it's at the higher sample rate, it's picking up all those really high frequencies that we can't even hear. So like this, some people are like, so like what's the use? Or there's some, debate that those frequencies that are inaudible, that all these really high sample rates can pick up, that it degrades the quality of the sound, and it makes the audio sound worse because it's somehow, messing it up because it's throwing in all these high frequencies that we can't even hear, but then when they're all in there, that it messes up the sound. So I don't know, there's a debate, people, some record it that, some go with the higher end. I record it like that. I like the way it sounds. So you just, do the same, listen to it, see what you think, and judge for yourself. All right.